To whom? Read. Greetings and salutations. The universe is just doomed. 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 Doomed.
Nice people has really helped me get over the fact that I fought in the Vietnam War. Have a great winter. I'm going to go hump the fridge.
What?
Yes, folks, it's true. I said I'm going to go hump the fridge.
Hello.
Hi, welcome back.
It's us, Nicole.
And Tessa.
And nobody else.
And that's it.
Except for my dog.
Well, Willow's here. You might hear her snoring.
Yeah, if you hear some snoring in the background.
Snizzling and snoring is what she do.
She's not nearly as entertained by us as our other research assistants.
In fact, she's actively ignoring us.
Yep,
actually.
she sure is.
She's had to turn her back to us.
She gave us the old Naboo.
She gave us the old Naboo. So,
we are talking about Wet Hot American Summer from 2001.
Straws stopped up. Oh,
gotta get the drink. Oh, is it from the ice? Tessa got one of them cups with the metal straw. She got it too frosty.
Well, because also there's like little bits of ice in here.
Oh, so it's just. Oh no! We gotta stay cool on this wet, hot American summer.
Yes, we do. It is. Well, in the future times, it'll be the end of June.
Yes, and hey, another. So, like I said last week, to close out our Pride Month.
Yes.
Which now we actually are doing. We got a couple. We got boy on boy, girl on girl.
Oh my goodness.
We got a few things happening in this one.
It is a wet, hot.
It is
American summer.
And if you don't know, this is by David Wayne and Michael Showalter. So they wrote it together. David Wayne directed.
Yep.
And if you don't know who that is,
then you gotta.
Those are original cast members of The State, which was a 90s MTV comedy sketch show, which built a lot of our personalities. That combined with, I don't know what else was like at the time, that Liquid Television, Kids in the Hall. It was all in that same, it was very,
you know what
we still say stuff from
all
it.
the time, which just by mentioning that, what I say, and for no reason, is that, Carl, what the hell is wrong with you?
I definitely still do the I'm Doug and I'm out of here.
Oh, well, yeah. That's fine.
I want to dip my balls in it as often as possible.
As often as there's anything to dip your balls in. When the Popo was a shot, he did not die.
So, yeah, we got to go see The State live.
Yes.
In LA just last year or earlier this year?
I feel like it was last year.
It was less than a year ago.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. If you get a chance, if you were a fan of The State and you're like, they're older now and I don't know if it's going to hold up live, it holds up live.
It sure do.
They're missing some cast members, but they're aware.
Right.
And they will make up for
that's what they
the missing popular cast members.
Right.
So we got to be Doug.
Yeah. That was so
because
good.
Michael Showalter wasn't there.
That was so good. It was all just so much fun.
It was fun.
So much fun.
And so this movie, Wet Hot American Summer, has 6 of the 11 original cast members.
Yes.
Because somewhere hiding in here is David Wayne and Carrie Kenny as Paco and his wife.
Yeah, I feel like.
But I watched and I forgot as I was watching to be looking out for them. And I don't know if those were the junkies or if that was.
I don't know, because that's the only thing that I can think of.
Who were the other people they encountered that might have had.
Because the rest of the people were like old people, were they not?
Like from the town.
Purse snatched that old lady, so I don't know.
That could have been Carrie Kenny dressed as an old lady. I don't know.
Have been.
But why would she be Paco's wife? Like if she was just an old lady on her own.
Also, well, I don't know. When we get to the very, very end, because it's at the very, very end of my notes, so I'll bring it up later.
Well, let's just get right into the cast because it's long.
Let's do it. Let's start off with Janeane Garofalo
as Beth,
Our Lady Janeane.
And I love that they don't bother to give last names because why do you? If it doesn't,
I saw some in a different list and I didn't even fucking bother because I just wrote so the first many names. People.
Yeah,
and so many. I kept having to flip back and forth. I'm like, oh, that girl, and I was like, oh shit. Well, what's her name?
And this is one of my favorite Janeane Garofalo performances. This and Mystery Men.
Yes. And that scene from Cable Guy.
Yes. Yes. In the medieval times.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So
David Hyde Pierce as Henry.
Michael Showalter as Coop.
And Alan Shemper.
Yes. He was also Alan. Shemper.
It's a secret.
Shemper.
It's a shh.
It's a Shemper.
Marguerite Moreau as Katie.
Paul Rudd as Andy.
Zach Orth as JJ.
Christopher Meloni as Gene.
In one of his finest performances, comedic performance. Like, I don't know if you guys know what you know Chris Meloni from, but he is a funny motherfucker. And this was so, like, if you only know him from what is even the show he's on? Is he
it Law and Order?
Law and Order, NCIS,
I don't know.
whatever one of those. I don't watch
Bong
that
Bong.
shows.
That one?
I don't know. If you only know him from that, you gotta watch this because it's so funny.
Oh, I know. What is he? Oh God, what's that one where Harold and Kumar go to White Castle? Is it?
Oh,
where he's the gross tow truck driver with the hot wife.
I feel like there's a few that he's done. Just little. I don't even know if you call it a cameo, but
he's kind of this guy, only grosser in like a different way.
But he's hilarious in this.
Oh yeah, he's funny.
A.D. Miles as Gary.
Molly Shannon as Gail.
Ken Marino as Victor.
Gideon Jacobs I put in there as little Aaron.
Lo Truglio as Neil.
Michael Ian Black as McKinley.
Amy Poehler as Susie.
Liam Norton as Artie.
Bradley Cooper in his debut.
And
as
what
Ben.
a debut.
What a debut.
Marisa Ryan as Abby.
Elizabeth Banks as Lindsay.
Judah Friedlander as Ron.
And the voice of H. John Benjamin, a.k.a. Archer, a.k.a. Bob from Bob's Burgers, as the vegetable can.
Yes. And then, of course, I have written by David Showalter.
David Wayne and Michael yeah, just combine them together.
Yeah, it was them.
And so if you don't know who the cast of The State is, but all those names sounded familiar.
Well, a lot of those names just sound familiar from other things.
Because right now at this point, you just know all of these people from TV shows and movies, but the original cast of The State was I didn't put them in order. So Michael Showalter, Lo Truglio, Michael Ian Black, Ken Marino, David Wayne, Carrie Kenny, Thomas Lennon, Kevin Allison, Robert Ben Garant, Michael Patrick Jan, and Todd Hollebeck.
Yeah.
And so it was a big cast. And if you like any of those actors, you should go check out this fucking State.
Go watch The State immediately. Well, I think it's on Paramount Plus.
I didn't even think to look up where it's
available. I feel like that's because
you own it, right?
MTV things. I bought it. I bought it because I needed to have it.
It's worth buying for sure.
Because it would only come on every once in a while. Like after a while, you couldn't find it.
And this is available nowhere right now, right?
Except for I feel like it's on Paramount Plus because it has MTV shows.
No, this Hot American Summer.
Yeah, no, this isn't available.
And now, if you didn't know, there's in 2015 they did. 2015 was the prequel series, the first day of camp.
Yes,
and it was a mini series, kind of, right? It was just like a one season short series,
and we should have done all that while we were hanging out doing nothing else.
And 2017 was 10 years later.
Yes,
where they meet up, like they talk about during this movie, they're going to meet up 10 years later. Precisely. And of course, they're now at that point like 17 years older than they were. They're already old to be playing teenagers, and that's part of the joke.
It's hilarious.
So we start mid-camp counselor party around the bonfire.
Oh, yeah. It's like all party times and, everyone's getting high and making out. And
without any dialogue, you get the dynamic of who's coupled up, who wants to be coupled up, and who's just hanging with the dudes or hanging with the ladies. Like, you can tell just by the way they're grouped up.
Yep.
And I'm a little confused why Susie seems to be trying to make out with Ben here when we find out later she clearly realizes what Ben's situation is. So like, why is she all trying to like smooch on him?
She's drunk.
Maybe.
It's a show.
Because he's Bradley Cooper and you're like,
right.
Fine, boy.
Well, because them two is always hanging out. Like they're kind of
they're the theater duo, directors or whatever.
Producer. Choreographer and director. And are they not, okay, like we'll talk about it in a minute when we get there We'll talk about it in a minute when we get there.
All right. So it's August of 1981, and it is the last day of camp.
It is the year of my birth, just before. I'm not quite born yet.
She doesn't exist, and I'm not quite 2.
Yeah.
I'm about to be 2.
It is the last day of camp, and in the morning, all the boys run out of the girls'
They're
camp.
all in bed with the girls. And these kids are anywhere from, by my judgment, 8 to 17.
Yeah.
These are some young children bedded up together.
Beth and Nancy are just sitting there
over
watching
coffee,
like you're not supposed to be in each other's bunks.
They don't care.
Her fucking deadpan.
I love it.
Oh, Janeane.
I love Janeane.
I love Janeane.
And then there's the
other
guitar guy and Moose.
Yeah, it's just one guitar. Those kids are waking up. Coop. Or no.
Yeah,
Yes.
Coop gets woken up by all
Right,
these
right,
kids like singing in his face.
Sure. And the camp counselors are getting the kids ready for the last day of camp.
And they mentioned they've been here for 8 weeks.
Yes.
So the whole motherfucking summer.
All of summer.
And now we've established in previous episodes, but if this is your first listen, we never went to camp.
No.
So I got no knowledge of if this is a thing.
No.
For as far as I know, most camps now are like 1 to 2 weeks. Like you got to have money to send your kid to an 8-week camp.
Yeah,
that's you're paying. That's not a free activity. You got to
No,
be paying
that's
for
not
your
a
children
city.
to be fed and cared for an entire summer.
Well, they're not really being cared for all that hard.
No, but
with
that's
these-
what you're paying for.
Well,
it's just not happening.
It's just like Camp Crystal Lake. If you let that little boy drown while the camp counselors are
So
having
yeah,
sex.
we've got some death by neglect and some death by homicide possibly happening in this light comedy.
Neglectful adult teenagers and kids running wild.
So yeah, this is definitely just a spoof of those movies from
yeah.
the 80s.
Sure.
It's not horror at all. It's not, but it's
No.
one of them wild party.
It's a wild summertime.
I'm surprised there's no titties in this, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Just bikinis, but no titties. I kept
Oh.
waiting for the titties to
No,
arrive,
there
and I
is
was
no
like, you know what?
titties.
There
No
ain't no
bare
titties.
Because you know what? There was always a bunch of kids running around.
That's true. That would have been inappropriate. I mean, it gets
always a bunch
inappropriate
of-
with the kids, not actually, but it's implied.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like it. You couldn't. Just
But
get
no,
them titties
they're
out,
not
I
just
guess, what
straight
these
up
kids are.
naked
I
in front of
suppose.
these children.
And then you see Beth and
She's crushing on Niles Crane
Right.
next door
Niles Crane next
with a
door.
mustache.
Yes,
And he's not, I mean,
he looks like a serial killer.
he does look like a serial killer, but he's cuter that way than he is as Niles Crane.
He's
I'll
like
give him that.
He looks like what from Napoleon Dynamite
Oh, God, I haven't
The
seen that
brother?
in forever.
with LaFondo.
Oh,
What was his
yes,
name?
yes.
Kip.
Uh-huh, totally.
That's
I
what he
remember
looks like
him.
with the glasses and the mustache and all of that.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, she's kind of giving him a little wave. He just apparently lives in a cabin connected to this camp with
Yeah,
no
like
fence
it's
between.
just off of
Close enough
camp.
she can see it from.
Like that's kind of weird.
That is weird.
I came out here to like get away from it all, but it's right next to a kid's 8-week.
And I don't like kids. I'm shy around kids.
I don't like any of this.
But to
Like,
get
he's-
away, I'm gonna spend my
That
summer
seems
next to like
odd.
100 or more children.
That seems odd. But now there's like a radio show thing talking about it's the last day of camp. It's a talent show tonight.
And if you haven't hooked up, this is the last day. Hookups are encouraged. You gotta
Right.
have someone to bring to the talent show.
If you don't want to lie about your summer romance, then you better find someone to hook up with. And now we cut to
Katie and Andy
are
Oh my
macking all like,
God.
I mean, it's
So
Paul Rudd.
It's Paul Rudd, so I would totally kiss him like
Oh,
that
I
and
would
not
do
be grossed
whatever-
out by it
whatever
to
you
do a
would
movie.
like to do.
But ew, it was. But that's my first French kiss.
Was like that.
Well, okay, I don't want to say it was quite like that, but let's just say it was very wet.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Well.
he was like, there was too much tongue happening for sure.
Oh, gross.
And we haven't established it yet, but most of these camp counselors are supposed to be in their late teens. So these
Right.
two should be, I don't know, 17 to 19 probably.
Right.
So they're making out, and you see Coop, Michael Showalter, watching
Looking
from
all
afar.
longingly
Yes.
and sad.
And they do a great job of setting up these dynamics without even having to say anything out loud. Like you get it from the looks, from the
The
mannerisms,
music and
the
all of the
music.
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, for
David
sure.
Wayne I love David Wayne.
Oh,
I'm going to tag David Wayne in all of these. So they're making out. And she comes up, so they stop, and she comes up to Coop all
like she's teasing him.
Do you like watching us make out?
Right.
Do you want to be my boy? She's kind of a little bitch.
I know.
And he's like, stop. Okay, right, very
you're
funny.
Really funny. But you're really funny, though.
And she's like, okay, but I'm going to find you a woman tonight.
Right. Like, it's going to be my job. Like, that's what her whole thing is. She's going to find someone. And she
as she walks away.
I want you inside me.
He yells, I want you inside me. And she's like, what? Nothing?
I mean,
nothing?
What's up? Like, from earlier. Like, what's up?
And you find out this is like the first time he's spoken to her.
Yeah.
On the last day of camp.
Right. He's like, because Ken Marino, Victor,
he comes up like
with these Birkenstocks
and that curly hair.
He was like, hey, oh. It was like, so what are you?
Why is Katie talking to you? She wants to fuck me, right? She wants to
fuck me, right?
She'd only talk to you because she wants to fuck me.
Right. And he was like, no, actually, that's not what she said.
So now Beth goes over to introduce herself to the neighbor.
She goes over there to talk. She goes to talk to the creepy guy next door, and like she
introduces herself as the camp director. What do you do? Or how about you? And he goes, nah, I don't work over there. And she's like,
yeah, I'm the camp director. I would know if you worked over there. And she goes to like hold her hand out, and he hands her
a trowel or something because he's gardening. He's very awkward.
She chucks it over.
She does a little,
and it like flies apart.
He tells her he teaches astrophysics at the college, and he came here for the summer to relax. So she's
like, "Oh yeah, what do you teach?" She's like, "Well,
astrophysics." Like I said. So she's like, "Come teach the kids about space."
It's the last day of camp.
I know. And he's like, no, it's okay. And she's like, come on.
I said no.
She's like, whoa.
And she just backs away. I'm just going to go back over here now.
So back to Victor telling Coop that some other girl, Abby, wants to fuck him now.
Right. He's like, oh, look at Abby over there. She wants to fuck me. And he's like, yeah, and this time I'm sure it's true.
Mm-hmm. And so Gene is serving up breakfast in the kitchen.
He's hating on Victor. He asks for some extra potatoes, and he like
flings the thing.
We need more potatoes.
And he tells him he's a Vietnam vet. And he makes it pretty clear he is not well in the head.
Yes, he's very intense. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what did he tell to get? And
he really hates Gary.
Right, but what does he tell him to go get? He tells him to go get something. I have that
because it goes back and forth a lot. So you get cuts back and forth. So I feel like it's maybe right after this because now I have that nerdy kid Keith, the dungeon master, the Class B dungeon master.
His little cape on goes over there. Like, bold move, Keith.
Yeah, and they're like, in your dreams, douchebag. And he goes, that's a hygienic item. I will take that as a compliment.
Douchebags are hygienic products.
And then Abby's flirting with Victor from across the room, and he like drops his shit in a panic.
Of course.
And now Gene drops that tray at Beth's table and walks off like flipping her off. Right. Like he hates like, Beth. I don't know why. I know. This is where he's talking about the bug juice powder. Oh. The bug juice powder packets are in the cabinet next to my dick cream.
Yeah. What did you say?
Dick cream? No. Stick team. Stick team. And Henry comes over and just like comes into the lunchroom without talking to Beth and like introduces himself or he asks where's the indoor kids? And JJ's like that table over there.
He just gets to walk into the camp like no problem.
Well, he lives next door, I guess. So
is this before or after the Ben and Susie come in?
They're right after
is it
this.
Right
They're
after that?
Okay,
yeah. So
part.
he goes to ask about the indoor kids, and then he just walks over there. How many of you want to do?
And they all their hands.
There's like kind of a lot of kids.
You want to do science projects all day?
Yeah, maybe I do.
And so now Beth tells Victor that he's got to go run the kids to the river. Yeah, and he's like, I gotta bang Abby. Like And then Ben and Susie come in from the theater program and they're talking about, and now they're going to cast and rehearse and play
do all
something
of that tonight.
A musical from Godspell.
Do they not give you and now I have tape all over my face.
Yes. Yeah.
Like it got a little wild last time and now I have tape all over my face.
And was that that was the state, right? Because Amy Poehler was Upright Citizens Brigade.
Yeah.
You guys remember Upright Citizens Brigade?
And we saw Scott Thompson at
the UCB Theater.
Citizens Brigade.
But I don't think we've ever seen any of them live. Because
No.
they're just on Comedy Bing Bang all the time. So I think
That's just the one connection just because of the building. It had nothing to do with.
And Susie is overly enthusiastic about this whole casting this thing, but intense. Like
don't think about you're gonna get out of doing the activities just because you're in this play. Like, we're gonna work. The show is the thing.
She's intense for a camp counselor.
Well, she keeps saying that she's producing, and then Ben back there like directing, choreographing.
So now Andy and Katie are making out again, and he suddenly out of nowhere is like, "You're suffocating me."
He's got like an itchy butt.
Yeah, my butt itches. And she goes like, "We're soulmates, yeah."
Right? And he's like, "You're suffocating me."
Whatever, if you want.
Yeah.
And she goes, "I want it to be special." And he's like, "Fuck you, dyke." And you're like, "What the fuck? Why are you being an asshole?" "I'm gonna finish my breakfast."
Ugh. Then he
This is like
does that.
This is one of the cutest.
Oh my God.
Where he is the cutest of the movies he's ever been in, but he is the shittiest fucking character. And we'll get to this at the end where she says what we were all thinking.
I know. It's true.
It's unfortunate. It's part of why we're doomed.
Exactly.
Boys
See,
like
this one's
and so he did it over the top and so well
that it was
the William Zabka. He's like the Billy Zabka of the piece a little bit.
He's more like the John Bender.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Because he's like kind of
because he's not
shitty, but
necessarily like violent or anything. He's just like he's a dick. He's just like
a dick
taking shit from nobody.
It's like really hot now.
I know. So now it's morning activity time.
Yes.
And a counselor's getting booted on the last day because he made a tape of himself jerking off in the office? Is that what they said? They're like putting someone in a cab?
Yeah. Poor Silas. Well, I don't know poor Silas. Like, he looked like he was kind of creepy. But they're like, we got to get a hold of that tape.
Oh, because it was McKinley. And they're like,
okay.
Sure. So now it's dance practice for the girls, hiking for the boys, but they all have their Game Boys with the Walkman on. So even in 1981, you guys,
right?
The kids didn't care about the nature.
Nope, they sure didn't.
And Henry's out there doing the science, and Molly Shannon, Gail, is the arts and crafts teacher.
Oh, yeah. Did we? Oh, we did. I skipped that whole part about how that McKinley goes in to tell the smelly kid that just happens to be the smelly podcaster kid.
Did that happen yet?
Yeah.
I was like,
after,
because I know I have a note about that.
Yeah.
Huh. I thought it was later. Well, we'll find out, because if I have a note later,
I know.
then we'll know.
You do, maybe you don't. Maybe you do.
Because he goes in more than once, so maybe I didn't do the first
maybe that
one.
was it. But yeah, Gail, she's doing arts and crafts, and she starts crying over her ex.
Because someone asked, "Is that your wedding ring?"
Well, it was my ex-husband.
And she's trying to get them to make a craft with just a singular crayon.
Can't even find the fucking crayon.
And so the girl from breakfast, Abby comes over to talk to Victor before he leaves, and they make out. So they're out there by the van, and she's like, "You got any gum?"
Yeah, and of course they both
Couldn't wait for you to ask.
I was thinking that it was going to be like, "Can I get the gum?" But like,
because we both have, it's my last piece, right?
Yeah,
and you give it to the mouth to mouth. So
mouth to mouth gum suscitation.
So yeah, I'm surprised it was that they both took a fresh stick of gum,
right? And only
so they could kiss,
chewing furiously so that they can make out. And I don't know if it was because it was later. Juicy fruit, like that last.
Yeah, I don't know if the first one was, but I definitely saw a
seconds.
pack of juicy fruit. So yeah, you only need it just long enough for the beginning of the kiss,
right
and
about
then you're
when
good.
but it's that just tastes like spit, fruity
spit, sweet spit,
sweet fruity spit. So he's like, I gotta take
these kids to the river, and she's like, well, and she picks him up by
sucks.
the fucking balls or whatever.
I'll be back tonight.
And so he gets off, takes off. What the fuck? He like peels out,
right?
And now this is where the beekeeper on Camp Firewood radio has not showered all summer.
Okay, all
and
right.
McKinley comes in to tell him, look, before your parents come, you haven't showered all
8 weeks
summer. He looks visibly filthy.
Right. He's like, you've got dirt all over you.
And that's when the counselors all go to meet and they talk about, okay, in 10 years, we should meet up. And like, what? Your guys aren't going to come work as a camp counselor ever again?
I guess.
You're only in your late teens.
They set it down to like a precise time. And that's what McKinley's like, well, good, because I got a thing at 11.
In 10
I've already
years?
moved it twice.
I love Michael Ian
I
Black.
know.
He sometimes, I feel like in recent years, he's had some questionable tweets, but not in like not in anything super crazy, but I feel like,
I feel
all
like
older
it's-
white men get close to
well,
the line sometimes. I feel like not
toes
all,
that line.
but a large percentage.
I feel like it's so sarcastic.
That's the thing too, is maybe it's that.
That
Is
it's
maybe
not,
it's just
like,
not,
it's
it
not
didn't
for
hit right
real.
because it's text. So maybe it's not that. It's
like
just
you can't
that, like,
see the really blank look
Exactly.
on his face while he says it. Oh, Johnny Blue Jeans.
Johnny
Oh no, wait,
Blue
he
Jeans.
wasn't Johnny Blue
Ooh,
Jeans.
the state,
Oh,
Viva
yeah.
Variety.
Yes.
We could put that on the list.
Yes, we can.
You don't know what we're talking about, but
No,
we
you
know what we're
don't.
talking about.
Shh, shh, shh.
So yeah, they're gonna meet in 10 years, see what kind of people they blossomed into.
Right.
So now Henry is out looking at the sky and tells the kids, because they're like, "What are you looking at?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing you need to worry about
Yet.
And Andy's alone in the lunchroom finishing his food, and he just like
he just like tosses
fucking
this shit on
flings
the
it
floor.
on the floor.
And Beth comes in like, you got to pick that up. He's like, oh yeah.
this tantrum.
Like, stumbles all over the place.
This is like a perfect toddler tantrum.
Oh my God. But he's so.
And like he drops the fork because
I
of the
know.
way he's all sighing, picking it up.
Tripping over shit.
So Gail is still back in the arts and crafts room crying to the children about her divorce.
She's just like unloading on these kids.
And that's when little Aaron steps in to start giving her some wise advice.
Sage advice.
Now Beth tells the counselors, "This is the best summer of my life."
Right. She's got the meeting. She gets everybody there at the meeting. She's like, hey, Camp Goat took a shit in the infirmary.
It's like, how's that even possible? It was on my shoe. Nancy's like, it is possible. It happened on my shoe.
What is it?
Abby has to run the Betamax. What movie did she say? Or
Oh,
what show? Fuck, I didn't write it down.
Neither did I, but it was like a weird choice.
But yeah, it was some weird movie that she had to run on the Betamax for the kids.
Right. They got to talk of the talent show is tonight. They got a lot of work to do, and that's when everyone just leaves.
Well, and she tells McKinley, "Oh yeah, there's some kids stuck in the rope course.
Oh,
I meant
yeah,
to
since
tell you
yesterday."
yesterday." So they've just been out there stuck in the rope course.
Oh my God.
So they all walk off. They stop listening to Beth. They're just like, yeah, whatever. She's
Right.
like, I'm not joking around. I'm not Ruth Buzzy.
Yes, 2 times in this
They
movie.
mentioned Ruth Buzzy twice.
Buzzy. And, like in reference to her.
And if you don't know Ruth Buzzy,
I don't know what to tell
laughing.
you.
Laughing, you guys. Check it out. It's like free on streaming, or it's like on the Internet Archives or some
I feel
shit.
like she's still alive.
She might be. Joanne Worley is.
I'm going to find out. I'm
right,
going
you
to be
find out.
our own research assistant.
So McKinley and JJ come across Steve, and now I thought Steve was a camp counselor.
She's 87 years old. Bless her. She is
Oh,
still alive.
Ruth, stay with us. Stay with us.
Stay with us, Miss Buzzy.
And so, yeah, they come across Steve, who thinks he's an alien. And I thought he was one of the counselors, but I guess he's a camper.
He's just wandering around in the...
And he seems too old to be one of the campers. None of the
just let
kids
him
are that
come.
old.
They just let him
Weird.
come.
And so, yeah, they try to talk to him, and he runs away like, my leaders told me not to speak to you.
Was he using a chicken as a gun?
That
Is
was
this
later,
what
I think. He's
later?
using it
Okay.
as a laser gun, yeah.
Right.
And so Beth goes to Katie. You're hot, right?
You're hot, right? So, like, how would I go about doing that?
How do I make a good impression? Like, put on a clean pair of
Pair of
pants.
pants. So, no, like, so slacks?
Because she's like, no, not pants. Oh, yeah, you're right. Slacks.
Right, unless
then.
you're kidding. I'm kidding, unless you're kidding.
No,
Are
a
you kidding?
Sexy dress.
Oh.
She like writes it down.
Oh, sexy.
Good idea. Good idea.
And, like, do your hair. Like,
And-
get out of town. Get right out of town.
Use some mousse. And she does like the
Like
horns, like.
No,
Moose?
like, moose.
So Katie realizes that Beth has a crush on someone, and she's like, oh, leave it to me.
She's
Come with
gonna
me.
find Coop a girl.
And
She's gonna
give a makeover.
get Beth a makeover, all on the last day of camp. There's a lot going on.
So much happens on the last
so
day
much
of camp.
activity on the last day of camp.
So yeah, now Andy and JJ are supposed to be watching on lifeguard duty.
These kids are swimming in the lake and they're not paying.
They're just
one
like
little bit of attention.
half asleep.
Yeah,
with their
they're
sunglasses
like
on,
tanning. And I guess there was no out of the 28 days that they filmed, it rained 23.
Oh no, it didn't look like
days.
it at all.
I know, I guess they were able to get it in between, but it was like a really bad weather and it was cold and it was wet and it was miserable.
Bummer.
Yeah.
So this kid's like, hey, can I take the boat out?
Yeah, I don't know, just
the motorboat? And he's like, yeah, whatever, fill it with gas.
Yeah,
this 8-year-old kid. And he just
gets the keys and off he fucks.
And then here comes Lindsay, Elizabeth Banks.
Oh, shit.
She up in her bikini diving into the water.
Oh, no.
And Andy's like talking about how hot she is. JJ's like, what about Katie?
Who?
They fist bump.
And so
JJ just dives off fully dressed because Lindsay's on her way. You get out of Andy's way.
Right? That's a good wingman, I guess.
And Lindsay swims up and gets on the platform, and he's writing in this composition book.
Journal.
And what did he call it the first time? Because I thought he said it was a journal, and she goes, "You mean journal?"
Yeah,
but that might be because he says later, "Henry, call me." Henry. She's like Henry, and he goes, "Call me Henry."
I know.
And she did. Because I couldn't tell what he called it. Because then he's like, "Oh, I'm not a."
It didn't. I couldn't have
I'm not
my
a genius
subtitles.
like you. Yeah.
So I don't know.
And she wants to read his journal, and he's like, "No, it's only for me, myself, and I."
Read this. That's me, myself, and I.
So they start making out just in front of all these kids.
Yes.
And the kid in the boat just flies past behind them.
Sure.
And Katie is elsewhere hanging out with Coop.
Yeah, she is over there going to find a gal.
She's going through the list of all the girl camp counselors to try to hook him up with.
It's like, I love sluts. Sluts rock.
It's just got to be the right slut. She's like, what about Susie? Oh, all right, maybe,
or whatever.
And then he says they dated before, and he's like, we did doggy style, pony style.
Yeah,
and he just starts going off on this wordplay journey.
Yeah.
And you can tell on her face she's kind of charmed by his silliness and whatever.
I know. Oh, it's a sunny day and they're Twitter pated and love is in the air.
So now the swimmers are out there cheering, watching Andy and Lindsay make out.
Oh, of course. And the boat kid is drowning.
Yeah, he comes back, but he falls in the water getting off the boat and he can't swim.
Oh.
And he's yelling.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm drowning. And he's like, cut it out, Bobby. You're fine.
Yeah.
For Christ's sakes, Andy, help me. I'm drowning.
I'm macking it with Lindsay.
Child proceeds to drown.
Of course.
And then before we find out what happens there, we cut to Henry with the kids when Beth walks up with her hair.
Her hair
doing that with your hair.
Side.
Did you ever try to do that where you parted it all the way from the ear?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Oh, of course I did.
And the side pony?
That picture I showed you with that matching top and shorts with the lace and the tights underneath, the half up, half down. The bangs are like that.
You know what we're calling this? Andy McDowell hair. Is that not Andy McDowell hair when you have curly hair?
That is a little, if you've got curly
hair. If you have curly
Andy
hair
McDowell
and you do
hair.
the side sweep from the ear, I feel like that's Andy McDowell hair. But so she comes up with that and some lip gloss, maybe a little bit of blush.
Yeah.
And he's like, woo woo. And he's like, he apologizes for before. And he's like, oh, I'm just shy around kids.
Yes.
And she's like, oh, I love astrophysics. He's like, oh, who's your favorite?
Who's your favorite? And she's like, I have to go meet Jim Stencil.
You know him, right?
Yeah, he's that guy. So anyway.
So now the drowned child swimming buddy comes up looking for his swimming buddy.
Kyle Gowner.
Oh, yes. Who's
Kyle Gowner, all kinds of shit. But I had just watched a movie with adult him in it. That was pretty good.
So wild.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, shit. And this was his debut as well.
So he tells Andy he's going to tell that he let his swimming partner drown. Cut to Andy throwing him out of a van.
A moving van. They drop him
and
off
he looks
in the woods.
Unconscious.
Yeah.
And how far did they go? Because you're telling me that his parents know he was at this camp.
It's the last day of camp.
How are you going to get away with this?
I don't know.
Anyway.
You're not. Well, no, he is, actually. He is. Spoiler alert.
And Beth comes asking Nancy, where can I find a book on astrophysics? And she's like the
library.
Bookstore or a library?
Yeah.
And Henry runs up right after her.
It's like, where do I find a book on camp directing?
Library. So Nancy asks Beth, she runs up as she's leaving
She was
in the
like,
truck.
oh, are you leaving town? I need you to go.
I need
to get
some
some lube.
lube.
My husband's coming.
For
I need
my
some lube
pussy.
For my pussy.
And as she pulls out in the truck, JJ, McKinley, Katie, Susie, and Coop are like,
Oh, you're leaving. Beth's
you're going
leaving.
to town?
So they all pile in.
Do you remember piling into the back of a
Yes.
pickup truck?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Sure do.
That was a thing. No seats, no seat belts, just metal
yeah.
and open air.
Hard metal.
So they
I
go to
want to sit on the tire part where you're higher up. So
Yes,
you got a better
so it's like a
chance of
little
falling
seat.
out.
Totally.
That's what I want. So yeah, they go. We have a library town montage with beer and
where so
smoking
much happens.
and McDonald's and purse snatching and shooting up.
Shooting up heroin and strung out on the house
Cocaine.
on the drug house floor. And then they ride back into camp like nothing happened and are like,
Right, like as the song ends, and it's always fun to get away from camp, even if it's just for an hour.
And Coop tells Katie, see you later, maybe. And she's like, definitely. And he's stoked.
Yeah.
So Victor and Neil are in the van, still driving to the river. This is a two or 2.5 hour drive, they say, to
that
get
they
to
have
this
to
river.
go all the way on the last day of camp.
Dumb. And Neil's like, look, forget about Abby. Like, this isn't happening. He's like, look, this is my only chance. Guess what?
I'm a virgin.
And he's
what?
like,
And he's like,
but you're a stallion.
what?
You've had like 50 or 60
lied
women.
to me.
Oh my God, you're a loser.
He is shooketh.
A loser. And now we're not even to 11 a.m., but it is time to take a quick break.
Oh, yes.
So we'll be right back. And we're back.
We're back. It's 11 a.m. and we're potato peeling.
Jean's hovering behind Gary,
Yes.
peeling the potatoes.
He's saying what he always says, and Gary's like mouthing it as he's saying it. And what does he say?
I didn't write
He's
that part
gonna-
down.
no, not the whole
I'm going to
thing,
go
but-
fondle my sweaters.
Fondle. I was like, follow his
What did you
sweaters?
say? I'm going to go make fondue with cheddar. That's not what you said.
That's not what you said. Just so much sweaters. Although I'll take some fondue with cheddar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gary tells Jean's can of vegetables, you should talk to him. And McKinley finds the beekeeper still filthy.
Yep. He still hasn't showered. And then we see that the cords aren't even plugged in.
So our whole narration of this guy doing the Camp Firewood radio is not happening. He's been alone in this room getting filthy for 8 weeks talking to himself.
It's a voice in all of our heads.
So Gail's still getting advice from Aaron.
Yes, they're doing like therapy.
Men can be insensitive schmucks.
Yes.
But I'm 34 and I'm afraid I'm never going to meet anybody. And he starts rubbing her shoulders and
Yeah,
she's like,
oh, come on.
your hands are magic. You're a
Oh, it's-
magician. He's like
Yikes.
12.
I know. Like young, he looks younger
He
than
looks
that.
young, yeah. So Victor finally pulls up to the river and quickly
Gets
shoves the kids
out of the
and Neil
van,
out.
out of the thing. He's like, I'm going back. I'll be back in the morning.
And Neil's like, you're not going to make it. I'm going to be with Abby. And if you don't like it, you can fuck yourself. And just hauls ass out of there. And he does he slam into the tree for no reason at all?
Yes, for absolutely no reason, because he's singing. What is it that he's singing?
Oh, God damn it. I didn't write it down. And we were just watching that clip.
And
Fuck.
we were just singing it.
Oh, God damn it.
No.
But yeah, he's
Wow,
singing to
anyway,
himself and he
he's singing.
slams into a tree.
Yeah. For like
And-
no reason.
For no reason.
Of
Cut
course.
to Abby lying on her bed, painting her nails when Gary comes in.
Oh, yeah. He's just,
Oh, I thought I was in a different bunk.
Oh, come on, Gary.
And she's like, do you want to come sit on my bed?
yes. And they get out the gum. This is where you can see that it's juicy fruit.
Yes. And they just immediately start macking and she stops him as Victor's over there crying to himself about, wait for me, Abby
Wait for me,
Bernstein.
yes.
Wait for me, my darling.
Sure.
So she stops and then she's like, I just want to take off my shirt.
Yeah.
So Neil is on the boat with the kids and they don't know where they're going because Victor
No.
took the map.
Of course. He's the only one that can navigate these waters.
So Neil's like, fine, I'll find him and bring him back here if it's the last thing I do. And he
He
just
jumps off, leaving the kids alone onto a motorcycle that's just parked over
at a
there
campsite. Yeah. And he sees Victor hitchhiking by the side of the road. And like, how did Victor even know this was Neil? Because Neil doesn't ride a motorcycle.
I know. He just knew. He just knew in his soul.
And he
because
takes
he goes
running.
to run him down, and he runs
for a long time.
And he manages to stay in front of
him on the motorcycle.
This is such a state thing to me.
Yes.
Like this gag seems very state
in his Birkenstocks.
Yes. And he comes to is this where he comes to the hay bale?
The hay bale.
And he's like, stops. Oh no. And he like jumps and leaps over the hay bale, but it stops.
Because Neil can't get over the hay bale. He's got to leave the motorcycle.
He got away like, that motherfucker.
And so now Lindsay and some other girls are going swimming when JJ, McKinley, and Gary come across them.
Yeah.
And I thought they were going to go skinny dipping. This was one of the ones
that's what I wrote. I was like, they're going to go skinny dipping and they're going to go look at titties. But no, they're just in the water.
Swimming in bikinis, playing with a beach ball.
Yeah, it's fine.
And McKinley's like, I'll catch up with you guys later.
Yeah, I'm gonna take off.
And they're like, oh, you know what? He's never been with a girl.
He needs the ultimate.
You mean penis and vagina?
No, sex.
And so McKinley goes to the shed.
Oh, he walks across the field like all
to meet up with Ben.
Right, and they have a wet, hot American moment.
They sure do.
Ooh, that
they
is
get
a
down.
Steamy. I guess there was at some point interview that Bradley Cooper was doing, and they had asked him like, "Who was your favorite like co-star to
on
mack it
screen?"
with?
Yeah,
and he said Michael Ian Black.
They were macking it.
They
weren't pulling no punches here.
My only complaint is the socks.
Right? Not with the socks on, but I guess you're in the shed, but still.
Well, like that's what I mean, like you said, it must have been like a dick appointment.
Yeah,
I was
there
like,
must have been a
just,
time.
That's what Ben does all day. He just hangs out in the shed on the offhand
It's
chance.
like every day at 11:30, they meet in the shed,
right, and have like hot sex, hot
American sex,
wet hot American sex in their socks,
sock sex.
Wet, hot American socks.
So Coop and JJ are getting the kids hyped to play baseball against another camp. They made it to the finals.
Camp. Oh, this motley crew somehow got together, and at the end, we're gonna against this weirdly evil team. We're gonna come up with that play that we made up together, and somehow come from behind and win the game. And they're like, you know what?
This feels trite.
It seems like this is well-worn territory.
Let's just forget it.
Let's not do it. And then the bus pulls up. He's like, okay, actually, never mind.
No big deal. They're totally cool with it.
Yeah, it's fine.
So Susie and McKinley run into the woods, and Gary and JJ see them and are like, oh, he's about to score. So they got to go verify.
Yeah. Right. And they find Susie's playing the pan flute.
Yes. And Beth is officiating Ben and McKinley's wedding by the lake.
Oh, to consecrate and sanctify their union.
And Coop is there.
With these outfits with the
and
flower
they're in their late teens again.
They're standing in the water with their eyes closed, and it's just a very hippie thing.
And JJ and Gary are like, McKinley's the F-slur with Ben.
What are we gonna do?
Cut to capture the flag.
Capture the flag.
And alien guy Steve that's where he's using the live chicken to shoot lasers. And Beth's like, have you eaten?
Right. Like, you should be in the talent show.
And she's like, is this your first year here? And he's like, it's my 5th summer.
You were my camp counselor
three
times. She's like, oh, okay. Well, anyway, you should be in the talent show then, like whatever it is that you've been working on. And
he's like, well, but it's not like,
right, like I don't know,
like music or whatever. And she's like, that's fine.
Susie and Ben are like,
it's like,
no, don't. They're like, and they don't ever say. She goes, how dare you,
right?
Usurp my authority as the producer, director, and choreographer of this show.
Fine, he can go at the end.
Yes.
So Andy has his head in Katie's lap. They're like at this little picnic, and she snaps at her for no reason.
Yeah.
And she's trying to tell him about going into town, and he's like, I smell ribs, and he just gets up and walks away. So Henry's showing the kids about Earth travels. Yep. They think he's all amazing. They give him this big hug and cry because they find out he's only an associate professor.
Less than. Oh. They hug and cry, and then Beth comes and spits out some astrophysicist facts.
Yes.
To impress Henry.
And she
learned all that in an afternoon. She retains information very well. And then he spits back some facts about camp directing.
And so now, because he's like, how do you have time to learn this? And he lives when you have all these camp directing duties.
Yeah, like payroll and food preparation and keeping the kids happy.
Now Lindsay comes up behind Andy, and not only her mouth, but even her forehead
face,
has
her whole head
barbecue sauce.
It's like, I want to make out.
And he's all, oh, you have barbecue sauce all over your face. She's like, so? It's pretty foul.
Yeah, ew.
And she's like, but I want to make out. And he's like, okay, but not here.
Yeah, so they run off, I guess, even with the Bubba Qua. He's like, well, at least you'll taste like a rib.
I guess. So Beth and Henry are walking and talking, and she's telling him how talented he is.
Yes.
And he's like, tell that to my dean. And she's like, okay.
Yeah, where do you have an address?
And
like,
she
what's
gives
their
the
name?
address.
And she gets all their stuff. That's how come she retains information so well. She takes notes.
And they have their first kiss.
And that's where we hear the Wilhelm scream.
And the capture the flag ends, and Katie is watching Coop laughing. And now Abby's now moved on to JJ. So this is the one Victor's fucking almost dying to get back to. And she's on her second dude.
She's the camp slut.
She is. 2:23 p.m.
Water skis.
And here's where Andy kills another kid by negligence. He's making out with Lindsay.
He tells her, you taste like a burger. I don't like you anymore.
And they look back and the kid is gone. And now JJ was driving here, though. I mean, they were supposed to be watching, but JJ was driving.
JJ was driving. He was probably, I don't know, what was he doing? Jerking off while...
I don't know. And there's some kid in the boat. Is it my turn yet?
Yeah. Is that the same kid that was thrown... Because he was all laid down.
The same kid that they threw out the first time?
Yeah.
No, it was a different kid.
Oh. Because I felt like they threw somebody else out.
So yeah, they throw him out of the van on the side of the road also.
Right. Oh, yeah, because he was a witness.
Yes.
Duh.
And so Katie and Coop go out to the barn where he goes to think.
Oh, yeah, this is where I come to think. And it's like this magical... afternoon that they're sitting here
and
talking.
They do this whole, I'm cold.
I know, this sweater switch and the whatever, like he's wearing
He takes her sweatshirt, then he gives her his flannel, but then he's like, well, that's my favorite shirt.
And so she gives it back to him. Now he's wearing both her sweater and his shirt.
And he's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So they kiss, and the goat's walking around them. Cut to the alien kid in the woods with this helmet with a soda can and all this shit glued to it,
shit
doing
on
whatever.
It, yeah, foil and whatnot.
And Gail is still doing she's doing role play scenarios with this wise child Erin about what she's gonna do if her ex calls her again.
Workshopping it with Gail, you got to be strong. Tell him no, Ron, it's over.
And they're clapping for her when she does it.
Coop calls home
to
about
say
Katie.
He met someone.
Sure, and Beth overhears this. She's like, Ruth Buzzy better watch her back.
Oh, because she tells him, maybe don't jump the gun on this.
Yeah.
Oh, real funny, Beth.
Yeah.
Ruth Buzzy better watch her back.
Exactly.
So now it's time to rehearse the musical.
Yep.
And Susie is bitching these kids the
losing
fuck out.
Shit, these amateurs.
And Coop comes looking for Katie, but she's not there.
Oh, yeah. She's in the cabin,
with Andy, and she's crying.
Right.
And you don't exactly find out ever what happened there.
Well, yeah, you don't know.
They didn't break up.
No, they obviously didn't. Well, we don't know that yet. But Coop is all pleased to see.
Right, because she's like, I want to talk to you later. So
right. Yes. Andy flips him off, fuck you. So now it's dinner time.
And JJ and Gary come in. Hey, McKinley and Ben. This is for you.
We got you a chaise lounge. We weren't sure if you already had one.
And they come in with this huge crate and barrel fucking box.
Sure.
Where did you go in the middle of the woods? Maybe when they went to town. But McKinley was with them. But still. So yeah, they got him a chaise lounge. They didn't know if they already had one.
Chalon.
And Beth announces that some kids need to be ready to leave early, and she starts reciting this list of Jewish sounding names, but it's like she's making them up off the top of her head.
And I feel like I'm not entirely sure, but the Jessica Azaria is supposed to be related to Hank Azaria for some reason. I forget. I saw something about it and completely forgot that little tittle-bittle.
So now Gene's in the kitchen talking to his can.
Yeah, the veggie
and
can
the can's
starts
now
talking to
back.
him. Yeah, and he's gonna go smear mud on his ass.
Did you say you're going to smear mud on your ass?
No.
I said, I hear my bud's in class. I got to go talk to my bud.
He's like, you know what? If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Like,
just
do it. Just
stop.
be honest about it.
Yeah.
And also, I could suck my own dick, and I do it a lot.
What?
See? I was honest.
So Coop stops Katie walking off with Andy, and she's like, we have to talk. I was thinking what happened between us before was a mistake.
Oop.
I wasn't thinking straight. And she's like, I have a boyfriend.
Right, but he's got this speech, though. Like, I'm in love with you.
I know
Come
when
to
we
you as a
started hanging out
man.
this morning.
Yeah, I come to you as a man who loves a woman.
If you give me a chance, I'll make you feel so good.
I don't care that you're bow-legged and bilingual.
Like, what? He loves her laugh, the way her hair smells. And she's like, I don't know what to say.
Right.
And he just walks
Runs
off.
off. So now Jean wants to make an announcement in the calf.
And he thanks them for a terrific summer. Tells them to have a great winter. He's going to hump the fridge.
What?
Yes, folks, it's true. I said I'm going to go hump the fridge.
Yeah.
I also want a bottle of dick cream. I fondle my sweaters, and I like to smear mud on my ass.
There you go. It's just like all the young dudes.
Yeah, and he
playing in
does
the back,
this
that little.
whole speech about, you might think I'm a weirdo, an outcast, a loose cannon, but I don't think so.
This is my veggie can.
This is my friend. I don't know
Told
his
me about myself when I was running from myself.
I love it. He doesn't. I don't know who he is,
I
but
know.
I know he was there for me. And I'm like,
4 p.m.
7:34 p.m. They tackle the stinky kid
Yeah,
again.
they grab Artie and they finally bathe him.
Triumphant.
7:35 p.m.
Beth and Henry hand in hand around the lake.
Oh, what will become of us tomorrow?
Tomorrow is the least of our problems. Don't tell me you have crabs.
Well, yes,
no,
but
well, yes.
meet
That's
me
not
at the
point.
tables in 10 seconds.
And I will tell you all about it. And so
And
they
he goes
meet.
like right over there. She stands.
She
there
just
for a
stands and
second,
looks away.
and then walks like 3 steps over where they're all gathered. And he's like, "Okay, I told you to meet me here at the lunch tables in 10 seconds. Remember earlier? And I told
10
you I had
seconds
something
ago.
to tell you." And so they're like, they got this telescope, and they're like, "There's this massive piece of the Skylab.
And it's heading right for the camp.
It could kill us all."
And we have no way of pinpointing where it could go
But wait, there might be a way.
to make a homemade tracking device.
So then now Coop goes to talk to Andy.
Can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah, whatever. He's
Time's up. You said a second.
He's like, "Well, you know what I mean. Do you really love Katie?" He's like, "Not really."
Well, I really love her, so do the right thing and let her go. No,
Because
wait,
I
dude,
do-
she's
no,
hot. Fuck off.
Fuck off. Duh.
I will not fuck off. That woman is not your plaything. Coop, seriously, fuck off. I'm sick of talking to you. God! And Coop runs out and steps in a
Stomps off.
bucket.
Yes,
Trips
he, like,
on a
slips
banana peel.
banana, falls in a kiddie pool.
Buckets on his head.
Oh, and then he goes and he cries in the woods.
And Henry and the kids make their tracker with scraps. And if they pull it off, he'll be up for the Hopkins Prize in Physics.
Oh, that's right. And maybe he'll get to be like a full-time professor.
Yeah.
And that's when Jean sneaks up on Coop in the woods and gets
Be
deep.
proud of who you are.
He's ready.
Huh?
He's
Jean?
gonna get taught the new way.
Shh. It isn't about the girl, Coop. It isn't? Well, it is. But it isn't. See if you can follow me here. It isn't. Oh, so it is and it isn't.
Yeah.
You're ready to be taught the new way. So he's like, will you teach me about, what is it? A new way?
A new way.
Eagle screech.
Montage into the fire.
Running, dancing, hiking, Zen focus activities.
Snatch the pebble from my hand.
And he finally learns to dance. And he beats Jean in a race. Freeze frame.
Oh my God. Yeah. Jumping up and down. Thighs in the sunlight.
7:51 p.m.
Victor finally makes it back to camp. Is this when he runs back?
Yes,
to the
he
camp?
runs back on foot just as Neil gets there on the motorcycle. So
Right.
Victor runs hella fast.
Sure he do. And Neil warns Beth that the campers are about to go over the waterfall.
Flash to the campers on their way over the rapids.
Ah!
And they get a call, and it's Victor. And he's calling from inside the camp.
The calls are coming from inside the camp. Where's the other phone?
We gotta
It's
go.
in the infirmary.
And they this is another, I feel like, a state.
Yes, where they're
sketch.
running from one to the other and everything's like, they're
And they're
where's
just
the other fucking-"
smashing
She's, like,
everything for
taking
no
everything.
reason.
Yes, and they get in there and the phone's off the hook. Why is he running?
From them. I don't know why.
Why is he
or
why
why
did
he would have called.
Why did he call instead of just running straight over there to fuck
I
Abby?
feel like this was their little nod to like a horror thing.
Maybe a little
You know what I
bit,
mean?
and
They
it's
wanted to give a
also
little
just
taste.
A very state thing to do.
It is. And so Victor finds Abby making out with Moose, who looks like he's maybe 14 at max.
Wow.
And like, okay, you don't see the lips touching.
No,
But they do a good job of making it look like she's making out with this child.
Right.
And she doesn't even remember Victor's name.
She's like, who are you?
He's like missing teeth and
What?
bloody and muddy.
Oh, man.
And he's like, and she goes, you snooze, you lose, dude.
Yeah, sorry. Sucks to suck.
So Beth and Neil get to Victor and she's like, are you going to be part of the problem or part of the solution?
You're going to be the solution. Let's
So-
go.
Yeah, let's go. So Beth goes to Henry, who's getting the printout from the tracker.
Oh, fuck my fucking cock.
Wow, what a mouth. And so it's going to land directly on the rec hall.
In the next 90 minutes.
The talent show is starting right now. It's got to evacuate, but they don't.
Right. And like Victor jumps in to save the campers.
So
but
they
doesn't
run
even
this
get
2.5 hour drive. They
Yes.
ran in 2 seconds.
Yes, they made it right back down there to. Well, no, I feel like maybe it wasn't the 2.5 hours away because I feel like they were taking.
They came down the
little
river
thing.
so
on
it made
the-
them closer.
I had to do the little hand motion so you understood what I meant.
I've been
It was
down.
like-
I
it
have
was
done like
the
inner
corner.
tubing. You got hey Tessa in the corner. You guys can't see us, but one time I was trying to explain that something was in a corner to
I was
Tessa,
explaining what a corner is.
and I
to me.
made the shape of a corner with my hands, like
Yeah.
she never heard of a
Like
corner
I've
before.
never heard of a corner. What? A what?
A who?
What is this corner that you speak of?
So Victor jumps in, and we don't see what happens. We just
No,
see
we
Neil's
just-
reaction.
right.
What the fuck? You're doing it. You're
my
actually
God,
doing
he's
it.
fucking doing it. And like when he gets out and he's not even wet, but he saves all of the kids.
And he has like a knife, and he's all clean now, and all his teeth are back.
yeah, it's
Next time we go camping, you drive the van. And it does like 90210 music. So now Henry and the kids are looking at the sky, and he decides maybe they can use their device to slightly change the direction of this piece of Skylab.
right. But one of the kids is like, why don't we just let him die? The cure girl's like, why don't we just let him die? Well,
But they have
no,
to be
we
able
can't.
to repeatedly generate a random number between 1 and 20, and that would take some super mainframe computer.
Or, as the dungeon master always knows,
Any dungeon master worth his weight in geldings goes nowhere without his 20-sided die. So Ben's about to start the show, and Beth runs in to stop it because she thinks the Skylab's going to hit.
right?
But then the kids come and get her, and they're, oh,
They're
never
like,
mind.
no, it's fine. Like,
I was just
it's
kidding.
Cool,
Just
like
kidding.
whatever. I'm just kidding. So now out comes Mr. Alan
Alan Shepard, their MC
Shepner.
for the night.
Right, and it's Michael Showalter
Yes.
in disguise with
As
this
an old stand-up comedian.
tuxedo with the ruffles. Mm-hmm. And he's making jokes about how old he is. All
Really
the jokes
bad
about
jokes.
how old he is.
But
And I
they
feel-
are fucking
oh
losing
my
their
God,
minds.
everybody loves this shit, and I feel like this is also very state.
Yes. Was
This-
that maybe a character on the state or close to like a? I feel like he did something
He
similar
was
to
something
this
where he was old for sure.
for sure. So yeah, they're like practically laughing themselves to death, and he announces the first act: a broom balancer, there's a
Yes.
singing trio. Bert Flugelman, who you know him as Moose, lights a fart on fire.
Oh yeah.
And then Gail's husband returns, Judah
Yes.
Friedlander.
Ron arrives for Gail, and she's got the kids backing her up. Stand strong.
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And if you can't handle that, then the hell with you.
You'll come back. I
don't
really
think so.
don't think so.
I really don't think so.
So yeah, woo! And here go Godspell.
And Susie she runs up
She's
to
like, I
announce
just want everybody to know that they suck
the
dick.
campers you're about to see suck dick. Nevertheless, welcome them. So they do a fantastic job.
I know.
Everybody through the whole thing is
It's like, yeah,
swaying and clapping. And as soon as they stop,
boo!
Day Bidet. It's one of my favorites.
Day Bidet.
And he does more old man jokes. I went to camp so long ago that fucking Jesus Christ was my counselor.
Oh, yes. They love that shit.
But his jokes are interrupted by Coop walking in.
He comes in with them crisp Cortezes. With
short shorts and a
crop top and a sweatband.
And he performs none of the things that he trained for.
No,
he doesn't dance or run.
That's what I thought, because it's been a long time since I've seen this movie. I was like, oh, he's going to take the stage. In fact, I wrote it, and then I had to cross it out.
Because he
does not.
Everyone's gooped at Coop, but it's just because of the look.
Gooped at Coop.
They got the Coop goop.
Oh, bitch. Jinx.
And he walks up to Katie. Hey, I came here to tell you I'm leaving.
I'm leaving. I got a lot of thinking done. I want to do a lot of growing.
I've grown up a lot since before dinner. And she's like, where are you going? I don't know. Maybe to see the world. He does a Doug. He's doing Doug right now.
I'm out of here.
Oh, God, you should have said that. And he hands her this little box, this like little 3x3 box,
tiny
and walks
box
off.
And leaves.
And she's into it. You can tell she's like falling for this.
Of course. And finally, it's time for Steve, the alien guy.
And no one claps. It's like silent.
Right. He just comes out and...
Come on, do something or get the fuck off the stage.
He is the Zach Orthiest person in the world.
He is.
He's like John Lithgow, where his face looks like his name.
I never thought about John Lithgow's face looking like his name.
His mouth looks like his name.
Lithgow.
His mouth makes the name of his name.
Zach Orth.
He's got the Orthiest face.
Oh, my God. So... Steve takes the stage and he raises his arms and like he's got little gloves on and sunglasses. Like, what's he about to do?
I don't know, but there's winds.
He makes like an indoor tornado,
right?
and like so, everyone's stunned,
of course. And Katie opens the box and it's Coop's favorite shirt,
all just like way crammed into this tiny little box.
Very clever. And so she goes to him.
So they're making out as the doors blow off the joint from the wind. And is it the science kids or the wind that diverted the piece of Skylab? No one will ever know.
I don't know.
But it falls nearby in the grass.
Oh, yeah. And also Lindsay and Abby end up
making out. During the wind.
During the wind.
The
winds got them hot. They made out with
and Abby were like, you know what?
Yeah, why not? We don't need none of this.
We're sitting within 6 inches of each other, and we have hormones. Let's
Close
make out.
Enough. Why not?
So maybe it was because she smelled like a burger. Oh. Maybe Abby's into that.
Fur burgers.
Oh, my God. When's the last time you heard fur burger, you guys? That's been a minute. So the wind stops. There's a pause, and then JJ starts the slow clap. Everybody cheers.
Yeah.
And Andy tries to get up on Lindsay because Katie's now gone after Coop, and she's like, no, she's with Abby now.
So now everybody comes out, and
they're still kissing Coop and Katie, and then it's like fade to black.
Right, exactly. And in the morning, everybody's getting ready to go.
Right, everybody's getting picked up, and they're all just like walking around this piece of Skylab.
Exactly. Henry got the Hopkins Award.
He comes out with a trophy.
I know, it's like a bowling trophy.
As if that would be the Hopkins Award, and he got it within 12 hours.
It fucking is. Right? Like they heard about his works at the fucking Firewood camp.
And now I'm getting hired at Cape Canaveral, Florida. I'm going to have a whole new life.
But don't worry. I told him I need that apartment big enough for 2.
And they'll fly you back to camp every summer. And she's like,
and guess what? I'm pregnant. And
they talk about like they were going to try to adopt.
I know. Like, we'll just go ahead and adopt. She's like, we don't have to.
We don't have to.
It happened. I'm pregnant.
And now Gail and Aaron are getting married?
Yes.
Inappropriate.
Yes. She takes Aaron.
She invites Beth and Henry, and Beth's like, I hope you don't serve jumbo shrimp. I'm allergic to oxymorons. And Gene leaves his can of veggies on the ground, but gives it thanks as he gets in the car with his wife.
I thought it was Nancy.
There's somebody cast as Gene's wife.
Oh, okay. Well,
she was also in the wind scene.
Oh,
he's in the outfit he's wearing in the wind scene. If you guys have never clocked it, but you've seen this movie a ton of times, pay attention to Gene. He's standing in front of a blonde woman blocking her from the wind, but he's wearing like
I saw that. Like he's like,
yeah, and I don't think that's Nancy. I think there's someone
'cause
else listed as Jean's wife.
She favors her. I don't know. I don't even think I wrote
that
down
would make
Nancy's
sense
name.
because you don't even. No, I didn't either.
That's
because you don't even see what happens to Nancy at the end. There's no wrap up.
Because I kept looking at her. I was like, "Oh, is that Elizabeth Banks? No, that's not Elizabeth." I was like, "Oh, it's Amy Poehler." No, that's not Amy Poehler.
So yeah, he gets picked up, and Science Kids and Henry are lying on the ground talking about their best friends now, whatever.
Right, you're my best and only friends.
And this is where Katie and Coop meet up, and he's like, "Oh, we should get together in the city next weekend." And she's like,
"Actually,
last
Andy's
night was
like really hot.
Yeah, last night was really great, and you were romantic and heroic. But the thing is."
Like, you get it, right? Like, I don't even care that he cheats on me. He's 16.
Like cut from marble and gorgeous.
I'm all about sex. But you were really nice, so we could still be friends, okay?
Yeah. I like you more than I like Andy, but I'm 16. So so she's supposed to be 16. So yeah, everyone thinks so, that you're really nice. Sorry if that's not how you saw this going.
Shoes, like she had those big old platform, like loafer looking shoes with like a wooden bottom. I feel like I had shoes like that.
Totally. And now who picks up her and Andy? Her dad or his dad? They go home
I don't know.
Together.
He's in the back seat. There's nobody in the front seat. He makes like whoever this person is drive Miss Daisy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I assume it's his dad just because he's already in the car.
And then who does Coop go off arm in arm with at the end? Is
Beth?
that Beth?
Yeah.
Because why is she not with Henry? Why would she go off arm in arm with Coop?
Because she's got to wrap it up. She's the director. She's
got
to wrap it
where are
up.
Coop's fucking parents?
Coop lives there all the time.
He's
actually Jason Voorhees.
Oh, shit.
What a twist.
Origin story.
Yes.
So that is Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah.
It's a fun one.
If you watch all the way through the credits.
Yes.
Which I did. There is a post-credit. Well, first of all, I happened to look. Thomas Lennon is mentioned in a thanks. And also there is a credit for Enabler at Large, Peter Principato.
Who's that?
I don't know. I was just intrigued by the
Enabler at large. I am also intrigued.
So yeah, once the credits all roll and once it's over, there's a post-credit scene and we get our little quick 10 years later. It's 9:35. JJ is late.
Well, and I swear they had said they decided on 9:30, but everybody make it your business to be there at 9:30 is what McKinley said.
Well, and then that's what, because he was like, "Oh, I thought that we had decided on," because everybody else is already in there. Mm-hmm. And they were like, "No, we said 9 o'clock so everyone would be here by 9:30 or some shit like that." Well, because
that was Susie's first suggestion, I think, and that was when McKinley was like, "Look, we're all going to be in our late 20s.
Yeah,
Let's
we
just
should
say
make
9:30 and make it our business to be there at 9:30."
Exactly. Well, everybody else was there except for JJ.
Oh, JJ.
And he was wearing like a suit with the Cortezes. It's like he got to wear them later. Like he kept them after Coop's big scene.
Interesting.
So yeah,
and JJ was the one that I feel like was in the most places at the.
He was just like
the only place you didn't see him was with Victor and Neil.
Yeah,
he was in the scenes with Gary. He was in the scenes with McKinley and Ben. He was in the scenes with Coop.
He hung out with Andy.
Yeah, he was like.
He was everywhere.
What did you call that? Because like I was kind of one of those kids where you didn't have one particular group.
Yeah, like a floater.
Kind of like a floater. Like you didn't have one specific group of kids you hung out with.
Cool with all kinds of people.
Yeah, that was kind of my thing in high school.
I don't really like the word floater though, because it makes me think of like, I was like a turd.
It sounds like poops.
I worked so hard.
I'm sure there was a better name for it. If you guys remember the better name for it.
Maybe there was, but
text it to us.
Oh yes, you can on
702-720-DOOM. Or 3666 702-720-3666. Text or call us.
Yes.
If you have camp memories that are funny.
No, 702-720.
702-720-3666. So if you have camp memories that are funny you want to share, if you know the names for things we forgot about, let us know.
Yeah, if you went to see the state.
Yeah,
let us know.
You've got stories about the state.
If you want to hear us talk about the state, let us know.
If you guys would like to hear a very special episode about the TV show The State, listen to this episode and let us know, because we would love to talk about the state. Mm-hmm. And until next week,
we'll talk at you next time.
Later, Doomers.
Bye.